Welcome to Decoding Finnish History. My name is Jukka Uusitalo. Word Orja, in English slave equivalents and reconstruction of native Finnish, word Orja. Circulation and meanings. The meaning slave is found in Finnish, Karelian, Latvian, Estonian, and South Estonian, in Vepsian serf. However, in all of these, the meaning servant also occurs. In Karelia, the meaning poor, beggar, is also found. Origin Orja, Slav, is inherited from the Uralic root language. The root Uralic word Orja also gives rise to the Ersen ure, Mokshan Uraslav, servant Udmurt Varslav, servant, and the North Sami word Orji, west, south, with a completely different meaning. This North Sami word has equivalents in all Sami languages, but in each language they denote the direction of the compass that leads to the North Sea when traveling along the Arctic Ocean coast. The Sami words belonging to the word Orja has been suspected for semantic reasons, but phonetically there is no problem with the assimilation. The semantic development of the Sami word is easier to explain when we consider the loan etymology of the Proto-Oral Finnish word. Orja is a loan from the Proto-Aryan ethnonym, nationality name, Aryas or Harjas, from which, among other things, Sanskrit Harja Aryan is inherited. This then developed into the meaning of Orja in the Uralic language. The intermediate meaning may have been Aryan who was taken prisoner of war. There are parallels to this semantic development in the languages of the world. For example, the Swedish Slav and the English slave are borrowed via Latin from the Greek word sklavos, which is a loan from the name of the Slavs. The name given to southern Baltic Sea Finns when Russia was creating its national identity. Similarly, the Amharic Baryaslav originally referred to an ethnic group living in the central parts of Eritrea. The meaning of the Sami word probably also developed from the meaning of the ethnonym, when the name of the population living in the south or west became established as the name of the direction of the compass. There is a parallel to this development in at least the old Russian Ire bird's nest, in Finnish Kalevala Lintukoto, magical kingdom in the south, which is probably a loan from the same Aryan word, more precisely from its later Iranian development. In previous research, the Komi Veres spouse, husband, often associated with the Uralic Orja synonym, cannot belong to this one due to irregular phonetic correspondences. It is a separate loan from another Aryan synonym entirely, probably the Kanta Iranian word Wirasman, from which, for example, Avestan Viro, Middle Persian Varar. The name of the country Estonia has also been considered to be originally based on the same Indo-European synonym, albeit via a different route. Old Finnic god. His name was changed to Piru, the god who, in the Finnic story of the birth of the snake, is the god who gives it eyes. This god became the father god of the Zen tribe of the Fraiano or Fraiano, the worshippers of the god An Fry or Fru, who were the Hindu Virupaksha, or race who worshipped the linga called Viru or Piru, the P being the equivalent of the Indian V, just as that of the Zendashpa is the equivalent of the Sanskrit Ashva. The form Piru used by the Finnic race, who turned aspirates into tenues, is reproduced in Perum Apem, the Vedic epithet of the creating god, meaning the sweller or begetter of the waters, the lightning flash which gives creative power to the heavenly Soma. It also appears in the Tamil root Peru, meaning to beget or bring forth, which is reproduced in the Latin pario with the same meaning, while per or Peru, the begetter, produces the Latin vir, a man. But this history of the fire god, the great begetter and producer who, starting from the northwest of Europe, gave his name to Phrygia, and produced the Indian, Finnic, Zend, and Latin offshoots I have noted, does not end here. For the Finnic peer becomes in Akkadian, which substitutes mediae for tenues, and changes a Proto-Medic R into L, Bil, Pil, or Bel. Bilgi is the fire god of Akkadian mythology, the god who in the Akkadian story of the flood is superseded by his own son, as Vyansa was by Indra, who was the son of the mother waters, begotten by the lightning flash. And this Bilgi becomes the primeval Bel of Nippur, whose wife was Bilat, a prototype of Alat. We can find in the Akkadian fire god the same god who, as the Greek Phlegias, appears as the king of the Heraclidae, or sons of the fire and sun god on their first entering into and conquest of Greece from the cultivating tribes of the communal village races. For Phlegias was like Bilgi, deposed, that is, slain, with his subjects, the Cyclopes, by Apollo, the storm god, of the Aeolic races also, as we find the northern R altered into I'm in the Akkadian Bilgi. We find a similar change in the name Phlegias, the Greek form of Phreguas, and we thus see that the German Phlug and our plow are names taken from that of the Phrygian fire father god by a race which, besides changing the R into an L, changed the PH into a P. This metaphor of the plow, the frugu, flugu, phlug, plug, as the fire drill which creates life-giving heat in the furrow by friction, seems to have been taken from the Turanian race. For just as the Gons of India worship the god who sends the life-giving rain, the cloud impregnated by lightning, under the name of the great Naga, the heavenly Nagar, or plow, so did the early cultivating Finns, who brought the plow and plow, grown crops from Phrygia, call the plow by the name of the fire god, and look on it as impregnating the earth with life, just as the lightning gave vital and creative power to the heaven-sent rain. These people, whose ancestors, we are told in the myth of Europa, came from Phoenicia, the land of the red, Phoeniciae, or the Greek Phoenic, under the guidance of the cow, brought with them into Europe the traditions of law and order, preserved in the names of Europa's sons, Minos, the measurer from men to measure, Rhadamanthus, the diviner, Mantha, by the rod, Rhodonts the judge, and Sarpedon, the cleanser, from Saer, mister, to sweep. They also, under the guidance of Apollo, the storm god Bom on the Xanthus, introduced the worship of the Aeolian Apollo, Cly Apollo Lycaeus, the offspring of the wolf, Hykos, fire god, Cly god of the fertilizing storm and tempest, whose were Sleip superseded that of the Cyclopean fire god Phlegias, just as the worship of the rain gods, Sakra, Indra, La or Ya, and Hor superseded that of the fire gods Viru, Piru, Bilgi, and Shu in India, Assyria, and Egypt. Piru comes from the same etymological root as the Finnic word for god Perkele, and Kivan Rusis god Perun. All gods have their etymological root is in the word Beork, the sacred tree of Birch, where the Finnish Harja Aryah and their Viking age trading post Birka, and the Viking clan Berkeley, Berkeley got their names. The eyes of the snake you can see in the birch bark. Finnish word for potato is peruna, and Southern American nation Peru is where they first grew potatoes. Most of the countries call potato as how it is produced as food, pot-ate or pot-atis, but Finns have it in original places as the introduced Perus, peruna, potato, to other nations. This was Decoding Finnish History, and my name is Jukka Uusitalo. See you next time.